Boom, boom. This is Ken, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. All right, we got a little bit of Azur laying on top today. So we're going to talk about Z-23, German destroyer. Now, Z-23 is one of your starter ships. You can choose from Laffy, Ayanami, and of course Z-23. I myself choose Z-23 simply because for a destroyer, she has the highest firepower of the three starter ships, which is the reason that I chose her. So let's talk a little bit about what she did in the war. She really did not have a large part in the war. She was one of 15 of the Type 1936 Alpha destroyers that built by the Kriegsmarine, which is the German Navy during World War II. She was part of the Z Plan. The Z Plan was Germany's plan to make their Navy competitive with the British at the time. So she was one of a large group of ships that were laid down and built for that purpose specifically. She was completed in 1940, and she spent most of her time in Norwegian or French waters, escorting German ships, and occasionally, Allied warships engagement, but not really, nothing to talk about. In 1941, she escorted ships between the Baltic and the southern Norway before spending 4 months protecting ships as they transited through the Bay of Biscay. Okay, and then a few months after Operation Barbarossa began in June, she was transferred to northern Norway, where she attempted to intercept one of the Arctic convoys returning from the Soviet Union and then helped to lay several minefields. Now, the Arctic convoys were the UK, Iceland, and North American ships that were coming, going to and from the northern ports in the Soviet Union. This is the time when we were actually helping to supply the Soviet Union there when we were allies against Germany there briefly. After that, she transferred back to France in early 1943, and she resumed the role of escorting ships through the Bay of Biscay, which were threatened. With Allied aircraft and cruisers were attempting to prevent. The Axis was blockading the area, and they were trying to reach the port through the bay, and her job was to protect that. At the end of the and she played a minor role in this, so it was nothing major. She really didn't have any any combat or anything like that. And then on the 12th of August, she was bombed by British heavy bombers and declared a constructive total loss. Okay, and then she was the French. She went down in the bay. The French. She was sunk by the actual German, and they destroyed all of her equipment so that she couldn't be reused. But the French did salvage her after the war and used her for spare parts. For some of the ex-German destroyers that they had in service. And then in 1951, she was condemned and broken up. So she really didn't have much of a participation in the war itself. But in terms of what you get for going for her, she's actually in pretty good shape. So she's got, first off, let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. I mean, she has a pretty high... She has pretty high hit points for a destroyer. Now, I've got the Retrofit. You definitely want to get the Retrofit when you get her, because the Retrofit will give you a lot of buffs. But it gives you a new skill as well, but as you can see. So, you definitely want to get the Retrofit complete here. Let me go ahead and finish this confirmation on these two items up here. And there we go. So, as you can see, she's a pretty good ship in terms of what she gets from her actual boost. So let's see here, Z-23 Retrofit. So when you retrofit her, you get 175 health, which is why she's up to 2290. So she's about 2000 without being retrofitted. Now understand, I've got her at level 120, so she's fully maxed out. You also get 50 firepower and a plus 20 to torpedo and a plus 5 to evasion on the Retrofit. The really big important thing about that is the firepower, which makes her already dealing out pretty high level damage for just a destroyer. She's actually on par with a lot of cruisers, light cruisers and whatnot. So that makes her an extremely excellent addition to your team. The only weak side, her evasion's a tad low, but it's not that bad. It's nothing to make a difference. But yeah, in terms of firepower, and she's got a pretty good torpedo stat because she is a torpedo boat. But there are other torpedo, cruisers that are better, like Ayanami and others have a really good torpedo stat, and you definitely want to focus on those for if you want to use for torpedo. But she does have high firepower for destroyer. I do normally have a torpedo on there, but I'm in the process of building one for her, one of the rainbow ones, to put in there. But right now I've just got some secondary guns and whatnot on her, as I have not built her up fully, but I'm going to be putting her in my KMS fleet. So, but one of the things that really makes her stand out is the actual skill. This is the base skill that you get when the ship fires its main guns. 5% chance to increase this ship's firepower by 56.4. Okay. The 5% chance, so it's not going to happen very often. But what it does, you'll notice it immediately. This is the skill that really makes her a definite ship that you want to look for if you're going to build a KMS German fleet. So every 20 seconds, 66.4% chance for this ship to enter destruction mode, firing a powerful barrage, deploying 2 rotating shields that can each block up to 5 shells. 5 shells, and the shields last for 10 seconds. Now that's pretty good, but the shields are really just blocking auxiliary fire. You're not going to get them to block, AP shells or anything like that. But the thing that really stands out about this skill is it increases the ship's main gun crit rate to 100% for 10 seconds. Okay, so that means she's going to be dealing out a ton of damage, and it's all going to be critical. So that's what makes her a premier frontline ship. And one of the reasons that if you're definitely going to try to run a German fleet, you definitely want to have her in there, because in terms of the German destroyers, she is definitely one of the best. And that second skill really does it for her. So once you get her in the retrofit, she's a pretty good ship. Now, as I said before, she does have a torpedo, so you can change this and use some of the torpedoes. This is what I'm in the process of building up for her, is one of these Type 93, and I'm going to put that on her for torpedo, but I haven't got that done yet. I have to get it from the merit shop, but or from the core shop. So that's what you definitely want to have, one of those on her, because she does have a torpedo. And as you can check out, her main gun efficiency is exceedingly high. She has 175% main gun efficiency, which is excellent. So you definitely want to get a gun on her that you get the highest efficiency. And then of course got the 40mm pom-pom on her, which is a pretty good anti-air gun. So I already spoke to limit breaking. You get main gun efficiency increases, of course, an increased tier efficiency base and a torpedo preload, and then of course another more efficiency. So pretty basic limit break, but you definitely want to get the retrofit, because that what really does her in. Now she's also got quite a bit in terms of skins out there. She has this is what she looks like base. This was the skin that they had just recently, where you could run the little just lost her there, where you could run the event and you would be able to acquire the skin for her. And then they had another skin in here. Let me see here, right here, the eye catcher in rye. Okay. So there's another one. This was another little event. They always throw out little events for the starships. And this is a retrofit skin, which is the one that you see most of the time. When you get a retrofit, this is what you get. I actually like the eye catcher and rye the best, but oh man, I keep bumping between that. It's difficult to adjust between screens. So, but you could use whichever one you want. I just keep up the Philosophy Sensei, which is that's the latest skin that came out like 2 or 3 events ago. You run the event, and you got the skin. So it was just one of the things that I did go for, and I do like the skin. But yeah, she's a good destroyer, especially if you're going to do anything in terms of German fleet. I do have her in my German fleet currently. If you go in my formations, I do have her set up as my German fleet. So I'm running Bismarck as a flagship, of course. I got Graf Zeppelin carrier, and then I've got Tirpitz, and then I've got Z-23, Rune, which is a priority ship, and then I've got Prince Eugen. So that's what I'm running. This is the best. This is pretty much the best German fleet that you can run right now, right here, until you get FDG, and then once you put FDG in to replace, I'll probably just end up replacing Graf Zeppelin with her, although I'm not really sure about that. Tirpitz has an extremely good high firepower. She's the strongest firepower other than Rune, but Rune's a priority ship, so not everybody's going to have Rune. And you can get Tirpitz in the events. Rune has to be built in the party, but she is a Series 1 priority ship, which means you can get her fairly easy, and I will be doing a video on her shortly, as I do have her, but I wanted to get her up to 100 before I started the actual do videos. I at least want to have all my ships at 100 or 120 before I do the video on them. And I've got some ships like that, so I've got several more to do. Hopefully she'll be up to up to snuff by the time I want to do another KMS ship. But yeah, Z-23 is a definite excellent starter ship. As I said, the highest firepower of the 3 starter ships, Laffy and Ayanami. She is the highest firepower, and with her retrofit, it makes her excellent. Another buff in firepower, another buff in health, and the torpedo too, which makes her excellent. So definitely something that you want to look at for any KMS fleet. So if you're looking, to get any of the good priority ships, you have to run ships of that particular faction. So if you're looking for any of the Ironblood priority ships, you need to have an Ironblood fleet, and Z-23 would be an excellent piece of the Vanguard for that. So definitely build her up, retrofit her, and I think you'll be very impressed with the damage that she can deal out, especially for a starter ship. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching the runner. Remember to put a like on the video if you like it, and subscribe to my channel as well. Remember to click on that bell, ding ding, and you'll be notified whenever I drop a video. So this is Kenrir coming at you from the corner with another Azur Lane ship review, signing out.